When you look at, what's being sold and what people are drinking at home, can you give us an update on where you're expecting Chinese New Year to be? How are sales going there, and how much of a setback is it that people are not traveling to see their families?
Well, listen, thanks for your question. By the way, it's the opportunity for me to wish a happy Chinese New Year to those that are celebrating it. It starts tomorrow. In fact, it's starting tonight. The festive season is starting tonight. The stock market in China is, in fact, closed as of today and for the next few days. So from a sell-in point of view, we're fully on board and ready for a festive season. Now, the key question, in fact, as you put it, is how will consumer uptake be? Well, it's starting tonight, so it's going to be difficult for me to say. That being said, I do think we believe we're cautiously optimistic. We've had a great first half in China, up 13% in China, with our brands, principally Martell, but all our portfolio of brands growing in all channels, whether the on-trade, whether the off-trade, and particularly as well the e-commerce channel, which is extremely dynamic.
Monsieur Ricard, what are you expecting actually tariffs to be like in the U.S.? I mean, I need to send over bottles of wine to Tom Keene, otherwise they're too expensive. Do you expect the Biden administration to take a different stance on some of these spirits sold from Europe?
Well, we do hope that the relationship between the European Union on one side and the U.S. on the other will go in the right direction and will be appeased. And obviously what the entire industry, the wine and spirits industry, are calling for, and of course of which Pernod Ricard is part of, is we hope to see the end of trade tariffs on both sides of the Atlantic. Of course, trade tariffs imposed on some of our whiskeys and wines in the U.S. and also on some American spirits in European Union. Hopefully, there will be an agreement one day, but it's beyond our control, as you can imagine.
Alexandre, wonderful to speak to you from New York. As you well know, what you purvey is vitally needed in the pressures, the tensions of a pandemic, but it will be a changed industry. How will your industry change coming out of pandemic?
Well, first of all, what the pandemic has proven is the very strong resilience of the spirits industry. We have seen compensation of severe on-trade, so bars, disruption through home consumption. And these are trends that were already emerging before this whole crisis hit us. And I'm talking about, for instance, the hometainment trend. People really enjoying entertaining at home with family and friends. We have seen the cocktail at home trend really accelerate over time. We have seen home deliveries accelerate as well. To mention Drizzly over the last a few months. And post-COVID, people will go back in the trade, because the importance of human connections, of social connections, of the on-trade experience is even more so important. But the home piece, the home consumption piece will remain.
Tom's laughing because, of course, him and I don't drop, we don't touch alcohol. It's all kale juice since
Francine, I know you want to get an important question on mergers and acquisitions. Can I just tell you the window display of Pernod Ricard at K&D Wines on Madison Avenue is an act of God.
Doubled.
Okay, continue.
Yeah, I think our home bar also doubled. Alexandre, is now a good time to look for M&A? Is it a good time for you to actually swoop up something that you'd be interested in having as a bolt-on acquisition?
Well, I mean, it's a great question. Part of our Transform and Accelerate strategic roadmap includes, of course, the pursuit of bolt-on acquisitions and, more generally speaking, the dynamic management of our portfolio of brands. And this is what we have been doing during and over the course of the peak of the pandemic. So a few months ago, we did announce completion of 100% of the acquisition of Monkey 47. Just to name that one, we acquired a Vermouth brand in Spain called Petroni. We have signed a number of partnerships. By the way, a year ago, a little bit more than a year ago, we also had this friendly takeover of Castle Brands in the U.S. with that great brand of Jefferson's, and you should expect to see us do more of that in the coming months and years, of course.
You're at home with all of your decades of experience and your family's heritage. What's the biggest mistake you see when somebody makes a cocktail? Alexandre, what drives you nuts when some American makes a lousy cocktail?
I'll tell you one thing. I'm not a purist when it comes down to cocktails because I have taken mixology classes. It's a great hobby of mine. But the one thing I would stress is when you see the wonderful spirits that you put in a cocktail, when it comes to the ice or the mixers, just make sure they're great quality ice or mixers. It's just like when you pour yourself, by the way, just an amazing, very expensive, high quality whiskey, just make sure your ice cube is high quality.
See that,
Alexandre Ricard. I like that. You know what my advice is never make it yourself. Always get, the husband or someone else to do it.
No, I love the ice idea. I think I could see a new ice maker in the Keane household. Alexandre Ricard.
By the way, we have great master classes, online master classes for mixology, and people who are really interested in making cocktails at home when they cannot go out.